Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. It is the player ratings. Everton 3, Newcastle United 0. Brought to you of course by FanHub. Go and check out FanHub in the description down below. Free to download, of course. There is a link there that you can click and you'll download it directly. You can do your predicted starting 11. You can predict scores. The more predictions you get right, as you can see, I got 10 out of 11 right. The more points you will earn, and you can exchange your points for things like pints in your local pub. So you could even have a free night out if you build your points up, or clothing, or various other things. Follow us over there at the Mighty Blues. There's also leaderboards so that you can obviously challenge people and see how many points and predictions you can get right. We do our instant match reaction, our player ratings and our previews with FanHub every week. So go down there, please give it a check out. It's completely free and it helps the channel out hugely as well. Before we get into the Everton player ratings, I'd just like to firstly say what a performance that was tonight. That is the Everton Football Club that I fell in love with when I was 5, 6 years old, when I went to Goodison Park for the very first time. And although it was noisy and although it was a little bit overstimulating, I just knew that I was going to love this football club and everything about it for the rest of my life. And, Everton, for me and many of you watching and many of us, was our first love and something that we will always love and, for the rest of our lives. And nights like tonight make it all worth it, don't they? What a performance that was. Pretty much everybody to a man. I don't want to spoil the ratings, but pretty much everybody to a man today is getting 8, 9, 10s because I thought they were absolutely phenomenal. Even in the first half when we were missing opportunities, we still kept our head up. We were still confident. We still moved forward. We still didn't look like, we were going to concede or we were, under any sort of trouble or problem whatsoever. It was a truly wonderful evening at Goodison Park. Second thing I want to say is please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It does only take a second. We're nearly at 8,500 subscribers now. The goal is to get to 9k, and then obviously the big jump to the big 10k is on. I want to get to 10k as soon as possible, so please do hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. We do pretty much daily content. Tomorrow there'll be two videos today as well. Absolutely boss. And then last thing I want to say is I want to give a couple of player ratings to a couple of Newcastle players because why not? Kieran Trippier is getting a 10 out of 10 for me today. Quiet at times, didn't really provide much. Obviously, had that free kick that was saved by Jordan Pickford fairly comfortably, but when we needed him to step up and throw himself on his arse a couple of times, which is quite ironic because Newcastle players are seemingly very good at throwing themselves on their arses, and I think Kieran Trippier showed that he's one of the best at the football club because when we needed him to throw himself over, he did it twice and it resulted in 2 Everton goals, so he's getting a 10 out of 10. And Anthony Gordon as well. Anthony Gordon, the player that, we were all told would relish the opportunity to play at Goodison Park, would love to play against his former club Everton, wants nothing more than to, she's seen his celebrations at Goodison Park last season, giving it all of that, the big smile in the changing room. Well, I'd love to see Anthony Gordon's face now. He's getting a 10 out of 10 as well for having one big opportunity and passing it straight to Jordan Pickford. Anyway, let's get straight into it then. Jordan Pickford. He didn't have a lot to do, did he? He didn't have an awful lot to do whatsoever today. As I said, he wasn't put under a lot of pressure. All jokes aside, Newcastle had a couple of opportunities. They had a couple of moments where your sort of heart was in your mouth a little bit. Most of them did fall to Anthony Gordon, and without trying to take the piss or joke too much, he didn't do anything with any of the chances he had. So Jordan wasn't called upon an awful lot. Made a couple of saves that you would expect him to make. A couple of routine saves, nothing of any particular sort of, world-class quality. But that's not his fault. He didn't have to make any saves of that quality, so you can't criticise him for that. I am going to give him a 10 out of 10 because there will be Newcastle fans watching this and they absolutely despise him and they despise the fact that he is better than any goalkeeper that they've ever had and any goalkeeper that they will ever have. And I know it will wind them up even more if I give him a 10 for a performance that he didn't really have much to do in. So, yeah, he's getting a 10. Real score, probably a 7.5 because he didn't have much to do, but what he had to do, he did well. But yeah, he's getting a 10 because It's my player ratings, and I'll do what I want. Vitaly Mykolenko at left back. Seriously, he's getting a 9. Absolutely unbelievable today. Again, when are we going to start having a serious conversation about this kid? You know, whether it be Bukayo Saka he comes up against, whether it be Mohamed Salah, whether it be Almiron, Anthony Gordon, no matter who it is that he comes up against, he always seems to get the better of them. And there were a couple of moments today where he was pushed off the ball a little bit too easy, but generally, once again, for the entirety of that game, he was absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know how many times we're going to have to say this about Vitaly Mykolenko, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many weeks now is it on the spin that he has been absolutely tremendous in, and he deserves a huge amount of credit for that, because as I said, he's just getting better and better and better, and no matter who you put him up against, whether it be one of the best wingers in the league, whether it be one of the best wingers in the world, he seems to comfortably be able to deal with them every single week. And this kid is somebody that I am fastly becoming very fond of. Again today, I thought he was really solid. His defensive work, his tracking back, his battling, his build-up play, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, he's getting a 9. Jared Branthwaite next to him then, he's getting a 9 as well. Absolutely colossal. Absolutely colossal. I think the biggest compliment to Jared Branthwaite, and I don't want to spend any real time on this video criticising other Everton players who didn't play today, because I don't really see the point in it. But the biggest compliment I can give to Jared is, 12 months ago, under 12 months ago even, we faced this Newcastle side, and they absolutely wiped the floor with us at Goodison Park. It was a comfortable win for them, and on that day, defensively, we were absolutely all over the place. We couldn't get near them. They were creating opportunities. They were scoring goals. They were just a much better team than what we were. And Jared didn't play in that game. Obviously, he was out on loan. I think Michael Keane played in it. Fast forward to today, Jared Branthwaite steps in there, and I heard a quote a couple of days ago from James Maddison, and I'm not in any sense or imagination comparing these two players, by the way, but James Maddison was asked about Jude Bellingham and why he's so special and why he's so good and what makes him what he is. And he said it's because he's a player who plays like he's played 600 games in his career. He's 20 odd years old. He's fairly inexperienced in terms of obviously his age and stuff, but yet he plays like a seasoned pro. He plays like somebody who's 28, 29, who's played, hundreds and hundreds of games. Jared Branthwaite is exactly that. And as soon as I read that quote, the first thing that come to my mind is, that's exactly like Jared. And again, before any of the Newcastle fans try and create something, I'm not comparing Jared Branthwaite, who's a centre-back, to Jude Bellingham, who's a central midfielder. But what I'm saying is, I also get that feeling from Jared Branthwaite, is that he plays football like he's played in the Premier League for 10, 15 years with no problem whatsoever. It comes to him with ease. He doesn't have any trouble defending. He doesn't have any trouble in the air. There was a moment towards I think it was when we were 1-0 up, where Alexander Isak had a one-on-one opportunity, and Jordan had come out and shortened the space, etc. But Branthwaite just basically walked next to him and just knocked him off the ball. And it was just like, that's a £70 million striker there. Somebody that, pretty much walked through our entire defence this time last year to get what was seen as one of the best assists that the league has ever seen, whatever. And Branthwaite has just dealt with him tonight like he didn't exist. And that's what he does every single week with whoever he's coming up against. No matter how good the centre forward is or is said to be, Jared Branthwaite never has any issue dealing with him. And obviously there's a lot of talk at the moment about people being interested in buying him and him leaving Everton Football Club and etc. I don't even want to entertain the thought of Jared Branthwaite leaving this football club. But if we do have to get to that conversation, it's £150 million before the conversation even starts. It's as simple as that. And Everton are in even stronger of a position now to demand big money, because we've just been fined and had points deducted because we haven't made enough money. So we are in the perfect position to go, oh, you want one of our best players? 150 million, or the conversation doesn't even start. But ideally, it would be, he's going nowhere, see you later. And because this is a kid who generally I could see being a top-level centre-back for the next 15 years. And hopefully he is that at Everton, because, as I said today, he was absolutely colossal again, so he's getting a 9 out of 10. Tarky next to him, I'm going to give him an 8. I don't think he was as involved as what Jared was, but still absolutely unbelievable in the air, in that last sort of 15-20 minutes when we were 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and, they were pressing and they were pushing and they were trying to get back in the game. Tarky was dealing with everything in the air, on the floor. He was absolutely immense again, and he deserves a huge amount of credit for his performance, because, like I said, again, this is somebody that last season, although was very solid for Everton and was one of our better performers, there were still question marks as to whether or not he was good enough. Whereas I think he's shown over the course of this season is when he's got a comfortable partner next to him who is more than capable of doing the job, that he is more than good enough, Tarky. And I think he was brilliant again tonight. Obviously, Ashley Young didn't play at right back. It was Seamus Coleman. If you're wondering why James Garner's in the team, this is because this was my predicted starting 11. I got 10 out of 11 right. How many did you get right? Let me know down below. When we get to James Garner, we'll replace him with Ashley Young. Seamus Coleman, again, lovely to see Seamus back in an Everton shirt. A very typical Seamus Coleman performance, I thought, today. He's going to get I'm going to give Tarky an 8.5, and I'm going to give Seamus an 8. Not because I thought he was poor. I thought he worked his bollocks off today, Seamus Coleman. Thought he battled. Thought he put himself about. And I thought, considering it was his first game back, obviously from the injury, and it was his first start back, and he was coming up against a difficult Newcastle United side with a couple of fast, tricky wingers who were capable of causing problems. I thought he dealt with it absolutely brilliantly. Obviously, he come off with 10 or 15 minutes to go. Hopefully, that was just for the sort of round of applause. I know he'd gone down with seemingly a little bit of a knock, but hopefully it's nothing too serious. But yeah, a huge amount of credit to Seamus. Really solid performance. Not hugely in the game. Wasn't massively involved, but was battling well and dealt with Anthony Gordon fairly comfortably, didn't he? Let's be honest. He dealt with Anthony Gordon like he was exactly like you would expect him to do. It was almost like, shut up, lad. I've known you since you were this small. I know you inside out. You're not getting anywhere, lad. And he didn't. He absolutely didn't. And it was another really solid professional, setting an example performance by Seamus Coleman, and I love that fella. I absolutely love that. I fall in love with that fella more and more every time I see him on the pitch. He's an absolutely unbelievable human being and an unbelievable footballer. Into the middle, Ashley Young. Give him a lot of stick recently. Give him a lot of criticism over the course of this season, and I've always been somebody that on this channel has liked to adopt the, give praise where praise is due, and if you're going to criticise, then you make sure that you keep the same energy when they play well. And Ashley Young's getting an 8.5 today. I thought it was his best game in an Everton shirt. I don't think he was particularly involved on the ball. I don't think he was hugely influential with the ball at his feet. However, off the ball, his work rate was absolutely phenomenal. And there was a moment with 5-10 minutes to go. I don't know whether we were 1-0 up or 2-0 up at this point. And their goalkeeper, Dubravka, had the ball at his feet in the box, and Ashley Young ran pretty much the length of the pitch to chase it down and to put pressure on him. That's what we want to see. We as Evertonians can accept that we won't have the best team in the world. We won't have the best players. Sometimes our players will miss opportunities, aka Dominic Calvert-Lewin today. Sometimes our players will have off days. Sometimes our players won't quite be on it. We can accept that. What we can't accept is players walking around with their head in their hands, not really caring, not really putting themselves about, not really showing that it means much to them. And Ashley Young today showed that it meant something to him. He showed that he wanted it. He showed that he fed off the energy the crowd give. And I thought it was his best performance in an Everton shirt. I do, and I think he deserves huge amounts of credits for that. So, yeah, he's getting an 8.5. Garner again next to him, going to give him an 8. I thought he was excellent. Thought he was absolutely excellent. Put himself about, battled, worked hard, won the ball back. And I don't even know how many times he won the ball back, but it was a significant amount of times, because I remember thinking a couple of times, Jesus Christ, he's won that ball back fucking constantly in this game. Yeah, obviously deserves a huge amount of credit for that. Yeah, again, I think Garner's been really solid for a number of weeks now. Ever since Little Arms was lucky tonight, says Tony. Don't go and get yourself another box of tissues on your coach home, Tony, because you're still crying your eyes out, aren't you? Go and watch The Holiday, mate. It's the time of year. It's a good film. It'll cheer you up and it'll forget about how bang average your team actually is and how shite the majority of your good players are. Yeah, as I said, I think Garner's been absolutely fantastic for weeks and weeks now, and stepping into that Onana role, and not only that tonight, but he also had to fill the boots of James Garner, who's been another consistent performer over the last few weeks and been another player who has been a standout for this Everton team. So to have to fill the boots of him and Onana is a big task, and I thought Garner was brilliant today. I thought he was brilliant. His interceptions, his hold-up play, I thought everything about his performance was top quality today, and as I said, yeah, he deserves a massive amount of credit as well, so he's getting an 8. Doucouré obviously got the goal. I'm going to give him an 8.5 based on the goal. I don't think he was hugely involved in the game. I still think we have a little bit of a player, a little bit of a problem, with Abdoulaye Doucouré when it comes to Goodison Park and getting those performances that he provides away from home out of him at home. But the important thing to remember with Dukes is he is one of the few players in that team that you can always rely on to pick you a goal. You can always rely on him to pull out, a goal from an opportunity, and he did that again today. And although he wasn't great, although he wasn't massively involved, although he wasn't hugely influential in the game, at 1-0 up when we were ahead in the game, but pressures, can build at that with 10 minutes to go, 1-0 up. He put the game to bed and made us all relax and made us all sort of enjoy that last 15 minutes, and then obviously enjoy going 3-0 up. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic performance. Fantastic goal. Not a fantastic performance, but fuck it, we've won. Fantastic performance. I'm having loads of fun here, by the way. Paul says Ireland loves you. Cam is right. Up the Irish. Up the Irish is right. Tony says, lad, we have 12 main players out injured. You beat our C team. Okay, so let's just go on that. Anthony Gordon starts every week. Alexander Isaac starts every week. Miguel Almiron starts most weeks. Joe Linton starts every week. Bruno Gomes starts every week. Kieran Trippier starts every week. Fabian Schär, do they have 2 centre-halves? I know they've got one of them missing Botman, but is it Schär not playing next to Botman? So starts every week. So that's 8 players out of that 11 I've just named that start every week for Newcastle. Yeah, some C team, that lad. Some C team, lad. Yeah, stop. Listen, Tony, it's all right, mate. We all lose games of football. By the way, I don't know where this thing has come from about Newcastle not winning. You've been shit for years. You've not won a trophy since before the fucking war, mate. You should be used to losing games. Just, as I said, go and watch a Christmas film. Get over it. You'll be all right tomorrow. Don't worry about it. You'll be all right. Anyway, yeah, Garner Gate, boss. Dwight McNeil, 9.5 out of 10. I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be overlooked how important that goal was. And although we've come away winning 3-0, and you might say, all right, yeah, we didn't need McNeil's goal. I think as stupid as this might sound and as cliche as this might sound, if McNeil doesn't score that first one, we don't go on and score the second or the third, in my opinion. It opened up the opportunities for other players, it opened up the confidence, and it opened up other players to think, you know what, we can get at these and we can hurt them. And it was a wonderful goal, by the way. It takes it off Trippier, and it has to be said, Trippier does make the mistake, but there's still an awful lot of work for McNeil to do in that situation. Still an awful lot of work for McNeil to do, and he did it, and it was a wonderful goal. It was his second wonderful goal in the space of a week. And as I said on the weekend, I absolutely love this kid. I do. I think this kid is absolutely fantastic. I think he works his bollocks off every time he's on the pitch, and I think he technically has got a lot of quality that people don't necessarily give him credit for. And I think today his work rate was matched with an impeccable finish. So, yeah, Absolutely brilliant. Did I just go back to Ghana Guy after giving Decore a rating? Maybe I did. Who knows? Hey, Tony C's back. Yeah, but we're using the same 11 players every 3 days as we don't have any other players. Whoop-de-fucking-do, mate. You're saying that, and you're singing about how you're going to Barcelona and Rome and Paris and this, that, and the other. Oh, the Geordies are taking over, but we'll also fucking cry when we've got to play our players a couple of times. Get to fuck, mate. Well, have a problem with your recruitment then. Why aren't you having a problem with Dan Ashworth and Eddie Howe? You know, you should be saying, why are we in a position where we've got to play the same players 3 times in a week? And don't give me the FFP, because the Premier League fucking love your owners. The Premier League are in bed with your owners, so you can spend what you want. So, listen, he says salty as well. Salt, I'm fucking made up, mate. We've just won a game of footy. Brilliant, I'm made up. Anyway, Jack Addison. I'm gonna give him a 7. And that is probably being kind. As I said in the instant match reaction, I think he was probably our best player post the first goal. But he was probably our worst player before the first goal. I just don't think he's involved enough, to be honest with you. After the first goal, I think his work rate was brilliant. I think his closing down was brilliant. His sacking was brilliant. He really started to just get his head down and just work. And that's all we want from him. You know, we don't expect a worldie every week. We don't expect him to create 15 chances a game. We just expect him to get his head down and run. And when he does that, he's much, much better. Because in that final 20 minutes, he was brilliant. Because he got his head down, he ran, he worked hard. But I just want to see that for 90 minutes. And then Dom Calvert-Lewin. Dom, give him a... Yeah, we'll give him a 7. No, actually... Yeah, fuck it. We've won the game. We'll give him a 7. Worked hard, put himself about, battled, but really should have done better. You know, the volley should be a goal. It's really, really poor. And he could have had another 2 or 3, couldn't he? But he worked hard. He bullied the defenders. He put them under pressure. He gave them an uncomfortable afternoon. And fair play to him for that. Fair play to him. Onto the bench then, Nathan Patterson. Gonna give him a 7.5. Come on, worked hard, put himself about, battled, fought, done everything that we needed them to do. And then Beto. Beto's getting a 10 as well. Beto is getting a 10 as well because he... Sorry, I've just seen a video of Jordan Pickford shadow boxing and it's absolutely made me nice. Yeah, he come under a lot of criticism on Saturday, Beto. And Saturday. When was it? Saturday. He come under a lot of criticism, Beto, and rightly so. You know, he looked erratic, he looked unconfident, he looked poor, he looked like he was going to take some time to settle in. And just as we criticised him on Saturday, he deserves to be credited hugely tonight. He's come on there with 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. And, okay, we were already 2-0 up, but he gets his head down. He makes an unbelievable run. I don't know if you've watched it again, by the way, but the run is absolutely fantastic. He runs practically from his own half. He's onside. He keeps himself onside, and the finish is really, really cool. It wasn't a finish of a player that is low on confidence. It wasn't a finish of a player that is struggling. It wasn't any of that. It was a cool, calm, collected finish from a striker that I think will be a really, 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 really popular player at this football club for a number of years. And he deserves a huge, huge amount of credit. He really, really does. So there you go. For everyone asking me about Kieran Trippier, he was the first player I give a rating to. He got a 10 out of 10. There you go. Big thank you all for watching. We are going to leave it there. If you have enjoyed this, please do leave a like. As I said, the instant match reaction is up now. You can go and check that out. It is live on the channel. It would mean a huge, huge amount to me if you did go and check that out. Yeah, we will be back with the game review tomorrow, as well as obviously the preview to the Chelsea game, so look out for that double-header tomorrow. But yeah, until then, get it up the fucking toffees. Absolutely buzzing. See you later. Oh, I pressed the wrong button, so I'm still here. Just a reminder, Anthony Gordon's not very good at footy. See you after.